Hey there, everybody. It's Carpo. It's about 11:30 p.m. here on a Tuesday. I'm going to go a little into my personal life and my dreams, so if you're looking for facts and figures or something else, you won't find it here. This video will be specifically about dreams, about houses. It's something that I'm going to try to stick to. I know I tend to wander, but I really wanted to cover this because it was important to me. I had a dream last night, and I dream often, you know, even though it's funny, I've talked to several people. Whenever I talk about dreams, somebody says that they're a cannabis smoker and that they don't dream. And other people, I even heard somebody say recently, one of my subs, that they started smoking cannabis because they have nightmares and that they wanted to forget their dreams and not dream. Well, I'll tell you, it's not cannabis that does it, although cannabis can definitely hinder dreams. I wake up and remember my dreams because I intend to. And there was a time when I quit cannabis for a couple of years for probation. This was about 8 years ago. And I just quit cold turkey one day and just didn't smoke for 2 years. During that period, indeed, I will admit that my dreams were much more intense, were much more vivid. But there was something else to it, another element. I was reading books about lucid dreaming, and one was called The Art of Dreaming by Carlos Castaneda. Now I have mixed feelings about Carlos Castaneda and his work with Don Juan, the hypothetical character that probably never lived. But that's another story altogether. The book was great. It talked about how to control your dreams, and it was useful and functional. There was another book I read called The Art of Dreaming, and it was relatively thick. It was a hardcover book. I still have it. And from what I understood, it was basically a manual on how to lucid dream. So the idea was to go to sleep intending to remember your dreams. This is a simplified version. Wake up at about 5 a.m. or so, or after like your third REM cycle. Then read for about a half an hour about lucid dreaming. Then go back to sleep and intend to remember your dreams. Wake up and you will instantly remember them, and then I had a voice recorder, and I have hundreds of dreams on this voice recorder. I think at least 200 or 300 that I recorded over the period of a year or two. And phenomenal. I have never listened to them all, but now that I think about it, I'll have to go back and see if that recorder even still works, or where it is. But I would write them down at first, but by opening your eyes, you've already lost a little bit of your dream. So, fast forward to today. I had a dream last night that, because I stopped, I should finish, because this is important. I stopped lucid dreaming because I thought that it was interfering with my brain's natural ability to process its inner turmoils, hopes, fears, desires, and whatnot. If I wake up in a dream and I'm like, oh, I'm going to start flying, I'm interfering with the dream, and it's a weird thing. If you've never had a lucid dream, you would not understand. If you have, then you get it, but I guess it's different for each person. I taught myself to fly, just like you're going to class. Each lucid dream is like a class, learning to do different things. The first time it happened, I just said, "Wait, I'm dreaming," and I said, "Oh yeah, you got to remain calm. Take a deep breath. Look at your hands." And then I looked at a little coffee table and I said, I'm going to manifest a bong and some weed. It's the weirdest thing. Stoner thoughts, you know, just to see if I could do it. And it appeared, and I said, okay, I'm dreaming. And then from then on, other things happened. I met this spirit guide I asked to meet in my dreams. I learned to fly, and this was over a period of, you know, a long, long time. But the one dream that after I let that go, it was because I wanted to let my dreams progress naturally. During this whole time, and before and after, I've always had dreams about houses. I never really thought, I thought a lot about what it might mean, but I never really until today understood it, that the house represents me and my life. It seems so obvious. Of course, I've looked at that metaphor, but I've looked at it more as if, I don't know, it's very difficult to explain, but I see it in a different light now. And so it happened last night when I had a dream that I was in my house. Now, my houses are always abandoned. There's never any furniture or anything in there. Hallways, everything's crooked, everything's strange. The outside is often, dismal or post-apocalyptic, if you will. And when I was younger, you know, there was a red sky sometimes, and it wasn't, you know, I've had some hard times, but it's easy to block it out. And I think that these dreams show me that there's more to what's going on in my head than I'm willing to admit, that I'm needing to process certain things. So, of course, you know, I'm not going to rub this in. My dog died a few days ago, and he was my best friend, man. I mean, you know, my dog. And so I know that affected the dream I had last night about my house being basically the foundation washed out. So here's the dream. I'm in the house. I go up to like the second floor, and I said, I know that there's a secret stash spot somewhere here, or secret, you know, opening. And I find a little spot, and I open it up, like under some carpet, and then I pull back this wood flooring, and I look down there, and I can see under the house, and I can see eyes, like there's a rat living down there or something, and some driftwood. It was kind of like a under the house type spot. So anyway, then all of a sudden I walk outside, and there was a flood. So I walk outside, and my house, basically the house I live in the dream, is somewhat on stilts. And I had built these driftwood blocks. The house had a good foundation that was built on stilts, but then there was these driftwood like cubes that were built in underneath the house, and the flood had washed this driftwood away. And it was near the beach. It was right by the beach. And I just thought, you know, this is just showing me that what I thought I had as a foundation, you know, was getting completely wiped away, that I needed to start over in many ways. And that's hard for us to admit. You know, hard for me to admit, I should say. Us is, you know, my way of projecting, but we all have these same experiences, that we realize that what we, you know, when things happen to us, when we're at our worst, when we're at our lowest, that we have to remain strong, but that our dreams can tell us a lot about ourselves, a lot about the world, you know. It's strange how life works. We get these 719. So I just sit on my camera there. I've had some really interesting life experiences, connections, synchronicities, coincidences, whatever you want to call them. And my wife's been having some interesting ones lately too. It's kind of funny how I think that when you're having the most turmoil in your life is when you tend to see the most patterns. It's fascinating to me, and maybe this has something to do with why people are most religious in areas where they have the most angst and the most suffering. I don't know. It just seems like we, you know, we see these patterns and we yearn for an understanding a little more, especially in times when we're hurting. But as we grow as a society, and you know, we can't lie to ourselves anymore. We have to figure out exactly where we're going and what to do the next day. And I don't know. Life is complicated, you know. But I guess really what I wanted to mostly cover was that dream. For anybody else who has the house dream, you know, because it seems so obvious in retrospect that the house is me. And I've thought that before, but nothing ever really happens in my houses. Usually they're pretty mellow. You know, they come and go. It's strange. I have really weird recurring dreams that are really difficult to define, and dreams are weird that way. So, anyhow, let me know what your dreams are like. Leave a comment, you know. Let me know. I'm always curious to hear other people's, you know, thoughts on dreams. And, yeah, I'll talk to you next week, tomorrow, whenever. Peace.